And welcome everybody to the Burbank Blizzard Esports Arena here in usually sunny California. Not as much lately, but it's sunny today. It's another week of Overwatch League starting off week 4. I'm Doe. With me, it's Monty Cristo. And man, we have got a good one to get started with today, don't we?
Yeah, I'm really excited actually because I will actually provide some solace to the Gladiators fans with some statistics, especially those brought up by our stats guy, Captain Planet, as we get into the game. But I think things are not so bad as they appear for the Gladiators. Valiant, though, they're definitely as bad as they appear. So,
well, let's take a look at how good and bad things have been going across the league. Here's our standings here. Now, the rough thing for the Gladiators is that if they lose any of their matches from here on out, they are out of playoff contention, which would be crazy because that would mean the first two teams eliminated from stage 1 are the two LA teams, which going into this season is never something I would have predicted.
Yeah, I think most people probably had them both in the top 10 coming into the season, so this is quite a surprise to say the least.
Sure is. So one of the best things about this matchup that we can look forward to is a bit of the talking of trash, as they say. And few talk it better than Dogman on the Atlanta Reign. He had some choice words in some of their more recent matches.
Cruz is a feeder! Oh my god. Crazy guy.
Very crazy guy. What do you say?
Cruz is a feeder.
What?
Yoicks. Yoicks.
Well, yoicks indeed, I guess. Dogman kind of, having some words for his opponent on the other side. And to be fair, they handled Cruz really well in that match too, actually. Masa just took it to him. But on the flex support side of things, Dogman versus Shaz today. Shaz, of course, had a spectacular last year on Zenyatta. But, we'll see how he does against Dogman today. This is definitely going to be a matchup to watch.
Yeah, and you take a look, and Dogman has less hero damage per 10 and less healing per 10. But look at those final blows. Dogman is positioning himself aggressively to get some of the pickoffs to start fights. And actually, ever since they introduced Dogman into the lineup, Atlanta Reign's overall teamfight win percentage is 54%, but it's actually 57% when Dogman plays. So his introduction has really done a lot for the Atlanta Reign and is bumping them up those teamfight win rate standings.
It's great to see. We'll see if they can keep the momentum rolling today. Let's introduce some guys. With the way the weather has been in LA lately, I feel like this should be our LA team, but it's not. But give it up for them anyway. It's the Atlanta Reign. I know it's a different kind of rain, Monty Chris, so let me do it this way. All right.
I'm letting you have it. It was a good thing. I appreciated it.
Here they come. This team, coming into the league, a lot of people weren't expecting too much from our expansion teams, but Atlanta and a couple others have certainly shown us that that is not going to be the case. These guys have had some great results, and they seem to only be getting better.
Yeah, and a lot of eyes have been on Defran, obviously, as a very popular streamer in the league. And he's actually number 2 in the league overall on Zarya when it comes to final blows per 10 minutes. So he's finishing off a lot of these kills. But a lot of the damage is actually coming from Popo and Erster, who are number 1 on Reinhardt and number 1 on Brigitte, respectively, in terms of damage per 10 minutes. So they're outputting a lot of the initial damage, and that's where Defran comes and mops up everybody in that team fight.
Sure enough. Well, they're going to have a tough opponent for them. Let's hear it for the home team, the LA Gladiators. Leading the charge, and as we said, this is a team that needs a win today. And this is a team that, going into today, predicting these matches, you got to give Atlanta sort of the favor, but you could see Gladiators popping up, right? You look at all the talent on this team. You've seen what a lot of these guys did last year, and you're like, eventually this is going to come out. They are not going to be a team at the bottom of the standings for long, I think.
And there are very particular issues with the Gladiators that I think are fixable, and a lot of it comes down to somebody getting picked off at the start of the team fight or them not focusing a target at the start of the team fight. We'll get into some more of those stats later, but if they can just improve both of those stats just a little bit, I think they're going to go to winning a lot of matches and a lot more team fights than they would normally.
I agree. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people talked about the coordination on this team. They've got that Korean front line and then the more English-speaking back line, and How do you make that work together? How do you make that mesh? And that can be kind of challenging. But the pieces are there, right? And like you mentioned, it's only going to take a little bit more to get it all to start to click.
And yeah, this is a must-win for the Gladiators as well. They're coming in. If they lose to Atlanta, they are mathematically eliminated from the Stage 1 playoffs.
That's right.
Of course, they'll be able to redeem themselves in stages 2 through 4 later in the season.
Sure.
But Gladiators have to keep winning, so it means a lot more to the Gladiators tonight.
I mean, obviously, if you're eliminated from the Stage 1 players, you're not eliminated from the league. You've still got 3 more stages to play, lots of time to come back. Let's take a look at our map list brought to you by Toyota. Gonna start things off on Busan, then going to Kings Row for our hybrid map, then Temple of Anubis, and ending things on our escort map, Rialto. Possibility for a 5th map. I hope we get to see it. More maps between these 2 teams are going to be better, I think, but we're going to start things off on Busan with Control.
Yeah, and we're coming in with the Atlanta Reign, not running end layer in their control, which they did last week, but it was on Ilios, so I was curious if they wanted to play more of a 3-tank, 3-support composition because that map is more favorable to it, whereas Busan typically rewards more DPS. They're not doing that. This is the starting lineup they think they have the best synergy with, and they're not going to be messing around with the let's say, multiple DPS players inside of this. Instead, Daco going to be playing on that Diva.
Standard 3-3 for both teams. Reinhardt's taking a swing at each other right out of the gate. Dogman trying to find an option here, has to keep himself safe, but he has been getting some of those picks lately. Ooh, wow, that Reinhardt extremely low. Poco having to take a break while he gets some much needed healing. And Dogman fell down, and that's not where you want to be as a Zen. You need to be in line of sight to put the orbs on people. Friend and enemy on. Poco does go down first. Roar gets a kill early on, and now Gladiators can charge in with the 6v5, and that should be a pretty easy cleanup for them and a pretty easy early take here on Mecha Base.
Yeah, and that's a great sign for the Gladiators because they are the 2nd worst team in the Overwatch League behind only the Justice when it comes to getting the first elimination in that fight. But they're very average when it comes to finishing out a team fight win after that. It needs to be more of these first eliminations. They need to send themselves up the standing, and then they're going to be probably a mid to top table team.
We'll see. Now it's all about the defense as Atlanta Reign try to come back in, retake the point here. Decay has that grab. A lot of low health members on Atlanta right now. Oh, that's a big shadow, though, coming out of the rain. They need to follow up. Looks like Shads is going to pop the Transcendence to keep people up. Grabs on both sides right now. Daco self-destruct. Is it going to claim anything? They may not need it to, no, because Atlanta picking up the kills they need. And they are going to flip the point.
And big difference, though, Big Goose didn't get his sound barrier until the very end of that fight. So an additional support ult from the Atlanta Reign allows them to outlast the competition on the LA Gladiators and get that first flip.
It is interesting, too, that with them winning the first fight, that he was actually the 2nd Lucio to get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, generally, team fight wins lead to an ult economy advantage, but not in the case of Big Goose this time around. Sometimes when you're bouncing around looking for those picks, you don't put out as much damage and healing as you would normally. Let's see if the self-destruct, the engage with Gladiators and get a whole lot, but no, it sets up one onto Poco and force him into the right position for Roar to just come in swinging, and that coordination that we've been wondering about. I feel like we are starting to see a little bit of that, at least in this first point.
Yeah, great advance there by the Gladiators, too. They hold on to their rally on Hydration's Brigitte, and they know that they have the sound barrier advantage, and Atlanta used their support ults on the last fight.
Right.
So go ahead, throw in the self-destruct to create space, follow it up with a charge in straight onto the tank line when you have that extra HP from the sound barrier overshield, and turn it into a fight win.
Yeah, here we go, Shatter. Dropped in there by Pokepo, didn't get a whole lot. Nothing to follow up on, at least. They're going to go ahead and use the grab. There goes Hydration. Early kill brought to you by DeFran. A grab in response for Gladiators as they try to turn this one around. And maybe with that Earth Shadow, they'll do it. They'll take out Daco with the self-destruct. And Gladiators looks like they're going to be able to keep holding this.
Yeah, Gladiators looking strong. They're staying much closer together. You can see that they're really focusing on collecting as a 6-player unit in this map right now. And I think that's smart. Ball up, because that's been your primary issue, is one of your tanks flying off and dying alone.
Right.
Focus on staying together and trust that your mechanics are going to carry you through the fight.
Well, they're certainly looking a little bit more tight on the coordination on side so far. this week. Atlanta coming back in 95, 96% now for Gladiators. You got to retake it if you're Atlanta. They push Gladiators up the hill there. Masa on the point trying to flip it right now. They're going to jump in onto Popo, and without the support there, he's not going to be able to survive. Daco eats a grab. Decay giving up that ultimate, and that's going to still allow Atlanta to take that one back. You know, the funny thing, Daco in an interview last week said, I only need to eat one meal a day because I dinner on grabs. So there you go, I have grabs for dinner. There's one right there. Chaz to kill Fran. Void caught though by Daco's self-destruct. So possibly with 1-for-1, Chaz come back. Roar doesn't find anyone with that shatter, but Popo still falls anyway. And it looks like Atlanta can have a hard time holding on to this one. Gladiators, time ticking away, and they will claim point A.
Very nice, much tighter play from the Gladiators than we've seen from them before in this season. It's looking like it might be on the up and up. We'll see if they can continue it out through the rest of the match.
I mean, that's just one round, but that's exactly what we were hoping to see from the Gladiators. We said, you know, as soon as they're able to kind of put all these pieces together, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And there it is.
Yeah, their problems were converting on that first kill, right? We talked about how they're second worst in the league at that. But middle of the pack once they get it when it comes to winning those team fights. So part of it is going to be focus firing a target, communicating between their Korean and non-Korean players on the target, and not having a tank fly off and die in the first part of the match.
Well, they were doing a really good job of killing off Popo in a lot of those early fights too, and then being able to follow up off that. Got him the win on round one. We'll see if they can continue that as we move on to Shrine here. Second point on Busan. Both teams positioning as we get started here. Atlanta Reign trying to claim the point first, getting on top of that, but Popo getting a little bit low. You got to keep Defran alive as well. Meanwhile, Decay dropped a bit low himself, had to back away.
Gladiators are focusing Popo very hard right now, which I think is smart. He is the #1 damaging Reinhardt in the league.
A lot of damage onto him again. As they try to fish him off, he's getting low. Popo has to back way off, and either way, you're getting the space you need to take the point. So even if you don't get the kill there, that's still going to be the point take by Gladiators.
I think this is a really good plan by the Gladiators.
Yep.
All right, try and catch the Fran on the flank right now.
Erster using that rally, try to give the team a little bit of extra armor to come back in with. There's the grab, though. Decay has his as well. He drops it in. Roar goes down. The Reinhardt out of the way for Atlanta to charge forward here. And on the back of that transcendence from Dogman, maybe they can take it back. They're trying here.
It's going to be a bit of a delay, though, before they can actually get it. A lot of ults they have to go through. Both sound barriers have been dropped.
Yeah, no kidding. Gladiators committing to that, trying to buy time until the Reinhardt can return, but now they lose their Lucio. Big Goose does go down. Roar is back, though.
Got
they bought enough time, yeah, and Lucio being down isn't the worst thing ever. Oh, no, it's a catch onto Daco's mech from Void self-destruct. He's got to try to get it back, and that's going to be Gladiators cleaning up this fight. Decay low, though, and Shaz dragging out. It's going to be the Gladiators managing to hold onto it.
Ooh, that's big, too.
Great hold.
Decay manages to survive, gets a healing orb right at the end there, so he's going to have a little bit of charge heading into this next engagement, and he worked his way back up to another Graviton Surge, so Gladiators manages to hold on long enough with Shaz absolutely fragging out.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was a close one, but the crucial part is that Big Goose got his sound barrier off just in time, and that extra shielding kept them up in time for Roar to come back, and that was a big part of the fight. Now Decay still has that grab ready to go. See if he uses it. It's going to be another rally from Atlanta Reign as they try to get in. A lot of low health members ready. Poco nearly down. There he goes. And Gladiators again get that early Reinhardt kill, and it's all elementary from here, man. It's just cleanup. Looking like the janitors of Busan right now.
That they are. Daco going to be left here for a stagger after that. Gladiators throw a lot into that engagement. They're not going to have a support ult for this last fight, but Atlanta Reigns are going to be able to maybe not get all their members back to the point in time.
Wow, just bursting through that ancient window to try to pressure Poco again. And they're going to go ahead and take the map. Gladiators taking Busan in style, a decisive 2-0. See, Popo didn't expect him to come through that window because no one would destroy priceless treasures like that. The Gladiators would apparently. There you go. Quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if Reign can tie it up.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. After the community discovered a crazy trick on Hollywood with Zarya and Lucio, the Atlanta Reign put it into practice against the Paris Eternal. After taking the point and beginning the payload push, Masa decided to push Defran where no pro Zarya has gone before.
Who came up with that? Was it a coach? Was it you?
I think we actually saw it on someone else do it on Reddit first. And we just like, that, if we can pull that off in game, it's gonna be so cool. So we just went for it.
And there you go, a rough first map for Atlanta Reign, but these guys certainly putting on a show last week, absolutely. That was a crazy
One of the best
play.
plays we've seen in Overwatch history, 100%.
Over the roof on Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of those things where it's like, right before they do it, you're like, oh my gosh, I just realized what you can do with a little bit of Lucio speed boosting, a little bit of Zarya right-clicking to get that extra distance, and then the grab from on high. Nobody expects that. Now they will, but man, what a play.
You love to see those death room above plays, though. They're so exciting, such big surprises.
Yep, that's right. So we'll see if they can come back. I think the biggest surprise we've seen so far is just how well the Gladiators played on map number 1. I mean, that's the thing. It's when was it going to happen, right? They had the pieces. They finally put it together. But can they extend that over an entire series? That's the next question we have to ask when we look at this LA team.
Yeah, and the Gladiators, as I was saying, were just a couple steps away from being a very good team in this league. I think a couple things to fix, and they're fixing them right now. And not only are they fixing them, but I think they've identified the primary threats on the side of the Atlanta Reign. We talk about Pokpo, we talk about Erster, #1 damage on Reinhardt, #1 damage on Brigitte. Pokpo was neutralized. They were focusing him super hard. And yes, Defran mops up a lot of those kills, but the initial damage has to be there for Defran to jump in and finish everybody off.
True enough, and a substitution for Atlanta Reign. Kodak subbing in for Dogman as we look ahead to our next map here.
Yeah, typically a substitution that I think the Atlanta Reign have struggled with, but we haven't seen Kodak in a little bit. So what can he do here on King's Row to help his team out? Because right now, the tank line of Atlanta is getting blitzed. Gladiators are playing in the trenches, in the tank war better.
Indeed. So moving on to King's Row, our hybrid map in this series here. Atlanta Reign versus LA Gladiators. Gladiators will be on the attack first. I feel like that's appropriate, given their name. Not given their ID, maybe. I mean, it is a shield, but still, you know.
Yeah, the shield's up. You know, they play a pretty aggressive style overall, or at least they have been today.
Aren't Gladiators supposed to be like the aggressive, you know, Ancient Warriors? Shouldn't it be like Trident and Nets up? Like that?
Pretty much. Like, you really wanted those exotic battles for the Gladiators, right?
I don't think, I can't think of like that one Russell Crowe movie, and he's like, are you not entertained by my defense?
Certainly didn't happen that way.
Guys, it's the meta. It's going to be 3-3. What do you expect? Here we go. Gladiators on the attack. And it will be that Reinhardt base 3-3 as they try to muscle their way onto the point early on here.
Yeah, there's no reason for LA to switch it up either, because if you already feel like you're winning the front battle...
Kodak!
Kodak! That's it for the Atlanta defense.
That's not a Kodak moment. Shaz picking him off, Pokpo down as well, and with Defran out of commission, that's going to be an easy point A take, and that's a rough one for Kodak, man. Coming back in after being out for a little while, and first thing that happens is you get picked. You hate to see it.
You do, and you know, it wasn't the photo finish Kodak moment, though, but it was a Kodak moment, as it were, and we'll hope we don't see too many more of those tonight. Basically, easy point A now for the Gladiators.
That's right. There was a time where people put these things in their cameras called film.
Oh, yeah?
And that's what the pictures ended up on. Not an SD card. It was a long time ago. Here we go. Payload's moving. And it doesn't get much faster than that. Decay charging forward, 100 charge on this. Ooh, Poco, nice boop. He's going to take a lot of damage here. Can they finish him? Good stun on Decay. Actually, to save Reinhardt for now. Another boop, though, sends Defran in. And that's going to be a kill for LA. And they're just going to keep the ball rolling. And man, there's just no stopping the Gladiators right now.
No, they are just playing amazingly right now. A lot of their issues were when Void would fly off and get himself demeched at the start of the fight, when Roar would charge in and find himself getting eliminated. Right. Those problems are not existing as we stand in the first two maps of this series. Gladiators look like they've tightened up their coordination significantly, and they are just rolling the Reign.
This is looking like the Gladiators team that we expected coming into the Overwatch League this season. So it's kind of surprising it's taken them this long to emerge. But yeah, like you said, it seems like they're getting it. Now, the grab comes in, Urster down already, Popo as well, suffering. I mean, Atlanta just looks totally outclassed right now. They are just getting caught over and over and over again, and it just doesn't seem like they can find any way to keep their Reinhardt alive.
Yeah, and we're going through a lightning fast round. Remember, this payload basically hasn't been stopped this entire map so far. So look at that, nearly 6 minutes to finish C, and they only had to use a Graviton Surge to do it. That's the craziest thing. How do you get this far with one ult?
I don't know, man. We've seen a lot of one-sided rounds on King's Row, but this could take the cake right here. Defran, though, with a grab. Maybe he can turn it around. The payload finally getting stalled out a little bit. As they play the corner, it's going to be the rally coming in from both teams here. Oh, the stun, the Earth Shatter, right as the grab happens. Void with the self-destruct, and he gets Defran. Kodak not going to save him with that Transcendence. It does not protect you from the self-destruct. Hydration learns the same thing, but Popo down yet again. And that payload, not moving at the moment because they're fighting it, but as soon as they get back on, it is going to roll and it is going to go fast. And now it's just cleaning up. Void demeched. Maybe an opportunity as they kind of throw away that grab a little bit here. But Kodak down. Popo back onto the Hammond now in desperation here. And it looks like with the boop on to Decay. Nice play from Masa. And that's going to buy Rain a little bit of time. But man, they are so close already to losing this attack round.
Yeah, that was the first real team fight that we've had because of pickoffs that have started in the very early parts of these team fights. They forced the swap over to the Wrecking Ball. And now they need to switch Popo back to the Reinhardt. Look at Roar's Shatter, though. That's going to be coming up very soon. We're going to have very similar Transcendence timings from both Zenyatas.
True enough. We'll see what they can do. It's going to take Popo a little while to build up that Earth Shatter because he did have to switch and reset his ultimate economy again. The Atlanta Reign doing okay at the moment. Gladiators doing the right thing and approaching this slowly too. They're showing a lot of poise here.
They're speed boosting around the side, looks like. So interesting approach here. Trying to get an angle for the Shatter.
Yeah, Void on top doing a lot of damage, and Roar just gets caught out. Yeah, when he dropped down, he didn't really have the support of his team, and now it's going to be everybody trying to die as fast as they can, and we'll see how well Atlanta can stagger them. Looks like that's going to be about it, but yeah, a little bit of missed coordination from the Gladiators on that one.
Well, also a great play by Masa to actually just changed the positioning of Roar right there. Wasn't going to be able to get the Shatter down. Obviously, the Atlanta Reign knew that they were losing the battle to the Shatter prior to that fight. They have caught up right now. Yeah. It's looking like we are heading towards 6 ults per team. Look at Urster's positioning on the high ground. He's going to try and boop Roar.
He's going to drop down. He didn't quite land it, but the Shatter, that did the trick anyway here. Defran extremely low. They're going to have to drop the grab. There's Dako's self-destruct, and to get rid of the shield, not quite sound barrier. Out just in time as well, but Popo does go down on the Reign side of things, and now Gladiators gonna get to push in again with that. Defran in the back line trying to cause chaos, but as he does, everybody else on his team taking a lot of hits here, and it looks like Gladiators have won this team fight now. How quickly can they handle the respawns?
Yeah, they're gonna try and burst through right now, but they've got so much damage coming in from Shaz's Zen.
Could be another hand coming back. Kodak gonna go swap onto it, not gonna live very long though, and as Shaz gets a final kill onto the mech, that should about do it. That's gonna be Gladiators getting things done on King's Row. Good amount of time in the time bank.
Yeah, respectable hold from Atlanta though. It took them all the way to point C, but you know what? They at least bled some time off the clock. 2.5 minutes for Gladiators and time bank.
A quick break and Reign gets a chance to attack. Kings Row, where the Gladiators set a pretty good time in their attack, 2:30 in the time bank. They made it to C quickly, and Atlanta Reign was able to eat up a few minutes off that. Of course, later tonight, don't miss it, Toronto Defiant versus Chengdu Hunters on Disney XD. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that series too. We get to cast that one as well, and that should be pretty fun.
Yeah, it should be really interesting to see the growth of Toronto and if we see any new and unique strategies out of Chengdu. But for now,
LOL, no, it's just Hammond. It's okay, they're fun to watch. I don't
they're
mind
really fun
at
to
all.
watch.
I love that team. Atlanta Reign on the attack here. We'll see what they can do. It's possible that you can set a quicker time than what the Gladiators have done. And we'll see if Kodak can get a little bit of revenge for that early pick onto him that the Gladiators got during their attack.
You can see Gladiators just pushing out, making some space right now. Atlanta going to respond in time to get back to the point.
They're going to get aggressive here. Void did get stunned a little bit. Had to flee. And Atlanta Reign having to back off. They didn't get the pick they were looking for. They were hoping to pick one up and then fight that 6v5.
No, but they're just putting pressure on a Pokebo. Right now, Gladiators focusing on winning the barrier battles between the Reinhardts, and they're doing it successfully.
Yep. Yeah, if you kind of play that corner, you can get those extra swings in there when they get close, and it certainly helps out a bit. Pokebo still about half health before finally getting some more healing here. Masa lurking on the walls up high. We'll see if he can find a opportunity to displace somebody. Meanwhile, Atlanta Reign back on the point. Gladiators going to get aggressive again here. They're going to chase Void down. Wow, Dako going aggressive here. Has to back away. He had his defense matrix to eat up some of that incoming damage. Can be one tick taken so far for Atlanta. There's a grab used onto the Gladiators. No follow-up kills though. Shaz pops out Transcendence. Atlanta Reign just going to wait that one out.
Yeah, they do have this Graviton Surge of their own right now, and Kodak has held on to the Transcendence.
Yep, so they've got a way to combat this grab coming in from Decay. There's a grab right now. There's the Transcendence from Kodak, trying to keep people alive. Can't keep Erster up, though. Roar gets him with the charge, and the sound barrier now in Atlanta Reign to try to finish this fight off, but Popo down.
Huge shatter.
And Dako comes in with the self-destruct. Gladiators able to turn that one on its head in a hurry. And they are going to hold the point. Only one tick taken. Oh, he didn't get back in the neck. That is a rough stagger for Reign to deal with.
Yeah, 2 minutes that fight nearly took off the clock just because it was so back and forth. Gladiators holding strong on the point though, and eventually just with the pin winning out, knowing the trance was there. When they had their Graviton Surge, throw the grab down, use the instant damage from the charge. They pick off Erster and can convert the kill.
Oh, Eden Void gobbles up another grab. DeFran just kind of tossed that right into him. Playing hungry hippos there and made that one easy. Gladiators now having no trouble at all repulsing that attack.
I think if they're the Gladiators, it might be hungry hippodrome there, Doa.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
Coming in, another fight about to start right here. Plenty of ults for the Gladiators. Atlanta Reign playing from an ult deficit right now. This should be an eco push for them.
We'll see. Going in. Oh, it's going to be the grab actually used on the side of the Gladiators. Can they pair it with Void self-destruct? No kills, but again, it keeps Reign backed away. Oh, and it did catch Dako. He is DMAC. Shatter for Popo. Nothing from that one for the Reign. And Gladiators playing it so poised, so patiently. Looking good so far. They've got an Earth Shatter of their own. Rally coming up soon here. Masa, meanwhile, on the Atlanta side with the sound barrier.
Gladiators playing like so much more of a team this week.
Yeah.
Nobody trying to make the big plays. They're all just collecting together.
Masa looking for the boop. Oh, can't quite get behind. Roar, doesn't matter. Sound barrier comes down anyway. Gonna get dropped for Atlanta as they get aggressive here. Popo, he's down though. Roar down as well. Both Reinhardts eliminated, but there goes Hydration. A chance for Atlanta to maybe finally take point A. They just need those last 2 ticks. Gladiators, oh, they're gonna dedicate the sound barrier to it. They're going in, man. That's gonna draw the Transcendence out from Kodak. Oh, and Decay gets another grab eaten. That's Dako with his second of the match here. One on Busan, and then now one on Kings Row. There goes Decay and Void's mech though. So in the end, Atlanta Reign will barely touch overtime on point A and get the payload going, but crucially, Gladiators pulled just a few more ultimates out at the end of that last fight.
Yeah, they definitely did, Doa. That was actually Void's first death of this entire map so far. That's how well the Gladiators have been playing around the Atlanta Reign ult economy. Just dodging a lot of those very dangerous ults. Eliminations overall, 35 for the Gladiators, a scant 15.
That's crazy, man.
For the Atlanta Reign. They're going to get some good payload movement right here, but Gladiators will have a couple defenses before they even hit the end of point B.
So the payload is finally moving now. Support ultimate's looking a little bit better for Atlanta on the virtue of Codex can have that Transcendence back a little bit quicker than Shaz will, seems like.
Yeah, this is going to be an eco fight. So the Gladiators want to fight now.
Oh, Shatter used. All right, Popo dedicates to it. Hydration. Can they keep alive? They barely do. Oh, I can't believe it, but it doesn't matter in the end. Decay and Roar fall, and that's going to be Atlanta throwing a lot at the Gladiators, but it breaks through.
You don't care if you're the Gladiators. The entire point of that engagement was to get ult charge so you can defend at the end here of point B. And
right.
when you get the Transcendence out and you get that Graviton Surge out of the Atlanta Rain, everything's coming up for the Gladiators. That's not the best point to defend on this map. You want to maximize their respawn distance, and you can fight here and do that.
All you have to do is stop them from completing the map. It doesn't matter how long it takes for them to get there. Decay getting very close to this grab. Dako getting aggressive, very low. Ooh, gets by the Reinhardt shield just in time, and Big Goose is going to be the first one to fall here. We'll see if they can follow it up. Shaz down from the self-destruct. Roar does strike back with a kill on Namasa, but it is going to be point B taken by Atlanta Rain. But again, you know, more ultimates used on the side of Rain. They had to use a sound barrier there.
Yeah, but they completed the point. And Atlanta knew what was coming, right?
Sure.
They knew they were going to be fighting at a disadvantage, which is why they pushed into the and past the point, I should say, so aggressively in that charge.
Right.
Because they knew if the Gladiators were grouped together, no chance they win that. Instead, they split them up, focus on one of the flanks, and that gets them the win.
Pretty much. So now, a little under 2 minutes remaining for Gladiators to stop them and try to go up 2 map wins in a row. Even if Atlanta finishes, they're going to go into it with a bit of a time bank deficit into the extra rounds. So if they want to get it done, they really need to get it done fast here. On attack, trying to get aggressive. Ooh, Big Goose goes in, uses that sound barrier. That's going to be Roar trying to push forward. Graviton Surge used. It catches Shaz. Roar going to back up there with his shield. They can't keep Shaz alive, but they do kill Defran. Oh, Decay now as well. And Atlanta, they lose Defran, but they strike right back again. That grab working out just fine.
Yeah, sometimes those solo grabs are definitely worth going for. Masa able to weave his way into the back line and make sure Shaz went down before the Transcendence could come online.
Yeah. So now the Gladiators scrambling. They don't want to let Atlanta complete this, even if they do have less time in the time bank. Back on the payload again. They've got the ultimates to try to push this. Masa looking for the boop. Ooh, didn't get anyone. That was a tricky move there. Transcendence does come out for Shaz. Masa using that sound barrier as well. You gotta watch out for the pits here. They're gonna throw in Void.
Shatter.
Oh, big shatter. That's gonna be 3 from Void self-destruct, setting it up. Shaz gets caught on the other side, but I think the Gladiators are just fine with that. Atlanta Rain, if they run fast, they might be able to get one more fight here, but Decay still has that grab on the Gladiator side.
Yeah, that's the concern right now, is whether they can even make it back. Defran's positioning could prevent them from getting to the payload if they don't see a grab from the flank from Decay here. So watch Decay. They may just try and push it in. 20 seconds. Need to buy some time. They push up right now.
Roar. Oh, they charge in. Both Reinhardt's really low. It's all about the stall here. And Popo getting extremely low. Void backs away. Going to go after his D.Va counterpart. Now Hydration down. It's a 5v6 for Gladiators to try to hold this one. There goes Masa. The grab is used. Big Goose taken out. Defran striking back here. And now Decay in a lot of trouble too. He's got the Zarya shield, but it's only going to last so long. A decisive team fight win for the Atlanta Rain. And it looks like they're just going to cruise their way into a finish on Kings Row.
It's an overtime finish, though.
They get it done in overtime.
It's
That's
an
true,
overtime
though.
finish, so
Yep.
they are going to have only a minute on this clock. Or 0, excuse me, on this
0.
clock.
Yeah, that's right. Quick break, and we'll go into extra rounds after this. We are back on Kings Row, and the Gladiators have put themselves in a pretty incredible position to go up 2-0 in this series. And it's like we talked about, Monty, at the beginning of this match. Gladiators need to win this one. Any losses, any match losses from here on out means that they're out of contention for the Stage 1 playoffs.
Yeah, and look at this. So finishing in overtime, 0 remaining here for the Atlanta Reign. They have to hold for 2.5 against the Gladiators. Will be tough, especially with how the Gladiators have been playing.
Yeah, Atlanta Reign, the best they can hope for is a draw here on Kings Road. Gladiators, though, can get a win on this map if they take that first tick. It's all they need.
All right, so Atlanta going to play aggressively. Did they get D-Mac?
Dako.
No. Very close.
Dako's actually got like 10 HP, man. He's in big trouble. Big Goose is going for it. He knows it, man. He's going to boot Popo ahead, finish him off with an uppercut. Popo never saw it coming, man. There goes to Fran, and I think this one may be over already here. Only one tick needed by LA Gladiators to win the map, and they get it. That's a 2-0 lead for the Gladiators. They are looking better today than we have seen them look so far in Overwatch League 2019.
Well, we said there are a couple small things the Gladiators can fix, and all of a sudden they are going to be a top-tier team. They look more coordinated. They fixed some of their issues and getting picked off at the start of these fights.
They're definitely looking like a top-tier team right now. We'll see if they can keep it going after the half. See you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
The Gladiators are trying to prove everybody at the desk wrong as they are currently up 2-0 over the Atlanta Reign so far at the half. What's up, everybody? Malik here. We got Zoe, we got Bryn. It's halftime. And guys, the LA Gladiators look like they want to make it to the stage playoffs. They are playing a lot better today.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. I mean, literally all the problems that we talked about, I personally wasn't expecting them to fix all of these issues so quickly because, I mean, like we heard in the pre-show when Mika got that hit as well from the Gladiators, they're having like communication issues because they're speaking different languages. Right. I mean, normally it takes more than one game to fix these issues, but they seem to have got it on lock.
That's some linguistic talent right there. You know, one day to another, you know what? We all speak Korean now, it's fine. But yeah, no, they fixed the issues. Everyone who we did criticize for dying too much, Roar, Big Goose, they stayed alive. And even more so, they managed to really, you know, pick on the opponent's team. They really identified who the threat was on Atlanta Reign and went for it. Yeah, they did a great job. They came in with a game plan and executed really well.
They've been looking good. All right, so let's take a look at one of the matchups that I've been paying attention to between Dogman and Shaz, the two Zenyatas. How's Shaz and Dogman, how have they been faring against each other?
This was a pretty one-sided engagement, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I know Dogman, he was just setting up. He was screaming at the crowd before he went live with his halftime. You know, he's getting them pumped up. I mean, he's a braver man than I. You know, screaming at the LA crowd, but
he screamed reverse sweep at the LA crowd.
Reverse sweep at the crowd. Yeah, it was something to behold. But it has been, as is the case with a lot of these one-sided matches, you're going to see that Shaz just had an absolutely unreal performance when you get those direct comparisons going on. But we've got to give credit to Shaz as well as a player because, again, he kind of flies under the radar quite often as far as the Nyata players go. But he's always been up there, you know, especially for quite some time. You know, he's a veteran at this point when it comes to playing Overwatch. You can see these numbers here. 1 death to his name in that first map. Crazy stuff.
Racking up them final blows as well, as I can see.
Yeah, but we have to talk about the tanks here too. As I said, they really did their homework. They picked up Pokpo time and time again. He really very often died in that team engagement, in the team fights engagement. And because Pokpo was nowhere near anymore since he was dead, there was no shield. So Shaz really had free range to frag out, and that really helped him get those pickups.
Speaking, while we're on the subject of tanks, how has Roar been faring? Because, Brent, I heard you talking a lot about Roar before we got on broadcast today. Is he playing better today in your eyes?
I was watching Gladiators play in their previous matches before we went live with the games today, and I was like, the one thing they need to fix, the major thing they need to fix, is Roar dying a lot less. And so far, that's been the case. I've noticed that he's been playing around his team a lot more. As a whole as well, I mean, I put some criticism on hydration as well as a player for not using his armor packs correctly. I haven't seen any of those weaknesses cropping up too often in this match so far. So I am honestly dead impressed with the way that they have rectified their issues so far going into this match. And as a result, Roar is now having a phenomenal game when it comes to the head-to-head against Pokpo. If you compare that and get that comparison going with the main tank.
It was beautiful to watch Roar and Void with their ults. They really worked well together.
So much synergy.
Yeah, there was so much synergy in that team, and that's exactly what we wanted to see from the Gladiators. So it was great to see them actually making it happen. And yeah, something which of course impresses was the hero damage done. Roar outdid Pokpo. Granted, Pokpo, was dead a little bit more, a little bit more often. And Pokpo, I think Monty mentioned it during the cast. He, coming into this, had the highest damage per 10 on his Reinhardt. So it was great to see Roar picking it up.
That's right, Roar looking a lot cleaner. All right, so the Atlanta Reign, I don't want to take anything away from the LA Gladiators, but the Reign, they don't seem to be themselves today. What do they need to improve going into the second half to turn this match around?
So I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm actually gonna be calling out the Fran on this one. Like, I'm sorry for all his followers and everything else, but one thing I noticed in particular at the Fran, he's dying first in a lot of these team fights. If he can be a little bit more reserved, play back a little bit more with the team, play a bit more passive, a bit more safe. Maybe, don't have the Sinatra mindset where you have to carry everything. You don't have to carry everything. It's a team game, You can trust your team a little bit more coming into the second half. I think that's one of the surefire ways that Atlanta can see some improvements coming into the next half.
All right, well, the Atlanta Reign are down 0-2. Can they pull off the reverse sweep like Dogman was screaming at the crowd? We're going to find out in just a second. Stay tuned.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. When everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Well, how about that? Gladiators with a 2-0 lead over the Atlanta Reign. And, you know, Monty, when I was making my predictions this morning for Twitter, I was like, all right, you got to go with Atlanta on this one, but this is one I could easily see blowing up in my face and going the other way. And it's happening, and I got to say, I'm pretty happy about it, man. It's good to see Gladiators playing at the level we kind of thought they would be from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that the Gladiators' issues were not that difficult to diagnose once you take a look at some of the statistics, but fixing them in-game is another story. But how are they doing that? They're really making sure everybody stays together. Void and Roar especially aren't going off on wacky solo missions where they die first.
Right. Well, looks like we got a bit of a substitution. Enlay are subbing in for Defran on the Atlanta Reign side. And it's going to be Dogman back in for Kodak as well at the flex support position. He's back.
It has been, I think, a little bit difficult for Defran so far, but the main reason why you're putting an end layer is because you want to run Widowmaker on Temple of Anubis. We've seen Atlanta do a fantastic job with the Widowmaker Junkrat defense, which is exactly what we're going to see right now.
Yep, makes sense. Urster had a pretty amazing Riptire, actually, in their last series. And I think we're going to see more of that today. Here we go. Gladiators on the attack. First of all, as we get things started on Temple of Anubis, Enlay are looking for those shots early on.
So you can see Gladiators already going to be playing dive into this. Obviously, Atlanta Reign, when they sub in Enlayer, you know exactly what they're going to be doing.
Yep.
And this is a test, because a lot of teams forgot how to play high ground dive on Anubis A attack. So the Gladiators have more tools this season, especially with the Wrecking Ball, which is new to the 2019 season for attacking that high ground.
See what Hydration can do with it. Takes a bit of damage as he slams down onto Urster, and there goes Roar. Pokebo finishes him, and a little bit rough for Gladiators here, yeah.
He was sad, he was trapped there. But you know what? Decay got onto the flank. And so they will have a high ground pincer attack. We'll see what they can do with Big Goose here with the speed boost. And Lair going to take the high ground. It's going to be vulnerable, though. He has a strong suspicion, as well he should, but there's going to be a couple people coming up there. Trigger the mine.
Gotta watch out, he's going to go down. Respond to Hydration, dropping onto his team, getting very, very low. Roar finishes him off. They followed him, they let him make his first move and then chased him down. Enlayer and Urster both down. There goes Decay. Dogman striking back here with Masa taken out. Maybe Gladiators with a chance here. I think they've got a good chance, actually, to finish this one off. Looks like they're going to get the D-Mech onto Dako. That's what they're going to get. And a kill onto Dogman should do the trick. That's point A for Gladiators.
Yeah, Gladiators now have a little bit of a conundrum. Do you go into the Reinhardt 3-3 immediately after taking this point? You can preserve, you know, 2 ults with the Lucio and the Diva if you opt to go for that strategy, and it looks like they're going to actually keep Decay on the Genji. Now, Atlanta are going to keep the Junkrat because they need this tire to defend. So the question is, can you kill Urster efficiently?
Roar is very close to that Primal Rage as well, so you want to bounce people around or bounce them into Decay's Dragon Blade, there's your option there. They need to put these ults to good use. It's going to be the Supercharger coming out from Marisa on the Atlanta Reign side. Pokebo, though, finishes it off, or gets it finished off right away. There's the Primal Rage. Pokebo down. Good start for Gladiators here on the attack, but the tire could change that. Urster looking for a couple. Bounce around the pillars, and he finds one onto Shaz. A lot of damage on the Big Goose, too. Sound barrier used. Self-destruct, doesn't catch anyone, but Decay, he gets one. There's Reflect, turning it around. Has that Dragon Blade out, but can't find any kills. Just the one with the dash. Enlayer and Masa down as well. Oh, and Decay, the follow-up kills after the ultimate. That is going to be the trick. One tick taken at this point easily here by Gladiators. Can they finish it off?
For Dako right now, need to finish it off. Orb of Discord on him. Decay will finish when the Matrix goes down.
Okay. Decay, okay. Maywall out. Atlanta Reign trying to defend with whatever they can get here. Dako already out of commission here. I don't think that Winston's going to last too long. No, Pokebo down, and it's a good start for the Gladiators. Self-destruct for Void. It's part of the Maywall anyway. Dogman trying to just delay as long as he can on the point here. Void back being kind of annoying there. Dako rather. Decay with another blade. And all he gets is just one kill while his team takes the point. Doesn't get much better than that if you're the Gladiators.
That was actually very well played by both teams. I think this is the evolution of the meta that we are going to see on Temple of Anubis.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, I think Gladiators are the perfect team to show that off. We'll see if Atlanta can respond after this. So as the Atlanta Reign get ready to attack here, let's think about the Gladiators attack. And on point B, usually you see teams switch off of those DPS heroes and go to the 3-3. Why do you think the Gladiators decided to stick with it?
Well, I think they were getting close to the Dragon Blade right there, and they read the situation correctly that the Junkrat was going to stay on the side of the Atlanta Reign. And the reason why you stay on the Junkrat is because if you switch everything else over to the normal Reinhardt 3-3, well, then you have a chance to just get a tire out, get an elimination right off the bat, a pickoff, and then start to build up the ultimate advantage again. However, Decay coming in and slicing through the back line, and also, you know, the Mercy sticking around too was a little bit of an interesting choice by the Atlanta Reign. I think once they saw the Genji coming in, they could have had a chance just to hard swap all the way to Rein 3-3, and that might have been a little bit better.
And a reminder here, a loss for Atlanta on this map would mean that New York clinches up this Atlantic division in stage one. Big thing for them here. Ooh, Pokepo a little bit low here too. It's looking a bit rough for Atlanta. Oh, Void the one who goes down though. They managed to get the DMAC and the kill onto the Diva.
So this isn't the first time Void has randomly flown away. He did this against Paris on Temple of Anubis as well.
Well, because what's the opposite of a Void?
That's right.
It's Void. There you go. It's a end layer down as well.
This is going to be rough now because they've given up. They've ceded the high ground control over. Reinhardt comp has just dropped on the point. Now you're in a rough scenario where you have to retake.
Yeah.
Gladiators not really with an ult advantage yet either as they walk into this Reinhardt. This is going to be tricky.
Man, you've got Ursa on the high ground too. That Zarya is just going to get to free fire as much as she wants. Now dropping down, finally feeling the pressure here. Deciding to turn around. Roar in that primal rage, losing a lot of health already though.
Just ignore the monkey, it's fine.
Yeah, you can get the health back on him anyway. And Masa just waiting for it, trying to find a way to take up Big Goose here. Dogman down early. And Atlanta Reign is starting to look like they're in a little bit of trouble. Pokepo, super low roar, gets stunned, pushed back here. It's going to be the sound barrier from Reign to try to keep their tanks alive. Meanwhile, Big Goose down on the Gladiators side. So Atlanta holding it strong here as much as they can. Self-destruct catches Roar. And Atlanta looking more and more like they might be able to finish this one off. Shaz, that's not where you want to be if you're Zenyatta. Not the greatest melee champion in Overwatch. That's going to be point A, going to Atlanta.
That's one of those situations where Gladiators, they focused on staying as a unit today. This time, Void finds himself outside of the main choke point on the Diva, easily focused down, and getting into a retake scenario with Winston 3-3 on a point is not desirable.
Not ideal.
A lot of ults used, though, by the Reign, so this isn't a disastrous snowball situation on B if you are a Gladiators fan.
Oh, Pokepo, a little bit of trouble, caught in that grab. There's Void self-destruct. Can they get rid of the shield? They can't. Ursa down. Pokepo finish off with that charge. So it's going to be the Gladiators with an easy initial defense here on point B, so no momentum, really, for Atlanta Reign as they try to keep this going.
No, Atlanta did have to commit quite a bit into that attack, so things are going to settle down now and most likely stabilize for a while. Gladiators coming up on 4 ultimates out of their 6, having used the Graviton and the Self-Destruct in that combo to win the fight.
Certainly seems that way. End layer now with the rally. So Atlanta Reign, a lot of time on the clock. They can just push this one slow. They can use the next fight to just try to gain a bit more ult charge. Go for the big push later.
Yeah, you lose time off the clock, though. It's always the issue, is how much the timings are going to affect you. And Gladiators have been conservative with their ults so far in this match.
Here we go, Atlanta Reign getting aggressive now. And can they take the fight? Pokepo again. He always goes down to about half health. It's giving me a heart attack every single time. It's going to be the Transcendence from Dogman coming in. And the Gladiators just going to wait that one out. Earth Shatter knocks down Urster. Can they complete the kill? Not with the sound barrier from Masa coming in at just the right time for Reign. Now they're going to throw in their own grab, courtesy of Urster. Masa Pokepo down though, and it's going to be Gladiators turning this one around again. Atlanta Reign, you know, that's the balance, right? You know, do you go in with a subpar amount of ultimates into the fight to try to get a better time bank, or do you kind of burn more time and try to go for the bigger fight later? They went for the early one and didn't pay off.
Dako here too. He's going to be able to read back, just waiting for the last bit of charge. But the real issue was Atlanta committed their support ult so early in the engagement, and especially when the Shatter came through, caused a big issue for them.
Yeah.
Because they had to commit support ults just to save end layer.
Okay. Gladiators on board with Shaz now as we wait for Atlanta to come in.
This is poking. Atlanta knows that they're going to get a trance and a rally up soon, so just slow push this in.
They may be drawing ultimate out. Okay, a little bit of pressure onto Rory here as they try to go in. End layer getting very aggressive. Ooh, pops that rally as he goes out. That was a dangerous moment for him, but he's okay for the moment. Now the shatter dropped.
Nobody stunned.
Not really, no. And that self-destruct not coming up with any kills, but it's going to be the grab now onto the Atlanta Reign, and Rory going to get 2 right off the bat. And there goes everybody else. Atlanta Reign, their push stymied once again.
I mean, Gladiators are simply disengaging off of the support ultimate.
Yeah, you just wait it out.
Just wait it out. Wait out that Transcendence. Wait out the rally. And guess what? Here's Decay coming in with a Graviton Surge, and you have no support ult cover, no healing, no overshields to stop the incoming damage. So Gladiators, I mean, Atlanta Reign support line right now is just getting comprehensively outplayed.
Yeah, you know, as much as I feel like they figured out Paris' support line in the Atlanta versus Paris match, it feels like the reverse is happening now, where Gladiators just aren't giving Masa and Dogman really any room at all.
Well, I mean, Gladiators are just being patient. That's exactly how they should be playing.
That's right. Looking very NY Excelsior at this point, and how defensive they're playing, how tight it's going to. There's Earth Shatter coming down. Ursa decides to drop the grab in. Oh, Dako self-destruct. No kills out of that one. Sound Barrier doing work, courtesy of Big Goose. That's a big shadow, though, from Atlanta. Gonna try and turn this one around. No initial kills. It's gonna be Dogman, though, with the Transcendence. Had to do something to keep Endlayer alive there. Now, again, Gladiators, like we watched, just backing out. Letting it expire. Poe down, and there goes Dogman. Void finds him with his self-destruct, and now, once again, Atlanta in a lot of trouble. It's all about the disengage now, and the quickest death that'll get you back to spawn. And that's going to be Gladiators, bringing it down to under 2 minutes for Atlanta Reign's attack.
I mean, these Transcendences from the Atlanta Reign have been really underwhelming. Yep. They're calling for these team fights, but the Gladiators simply melt away because there's no crowd control to stick them in place.
Right.
And they know they're not going to win those fights during the AoE healing that's provided by a Zenyatta ultimate. And now Atlanta Reign's going to have to eco push this one because they're walking into a rally and a trance and yet another Graviton Surge.
They don't have time to keep doing this. They need maybe one eco push, then get in there with as many ultimates as they have, and you go back and you wonder if they would have, been a bit more patient. There goes Dogman, another big pick for Gladiators. But like I was saying, if you wonder if Atlanta Reign would have been a bit more patient with those early pushes, waited for 5-6 ultimates, if this would have gone differently, because now every push they're coming in with is like 2-3 ultimates, and nothing is phasing the Gladiators.
And look at this discipline from the Gladiators. Guess what? You used a rally. They were looking for the Diva right there, couldn't actually find Dako, hit it in that corner.
It's elusive.
Yeah, before they had to go back. But wow, winning that fight with a rally and an eco push is, that's a major win right there, because now you're going to be able to match ult economy effectively with the Reign.
Are you going to try? Atlanta Reign, now they've got the ultimates coming up. But they're under 30 seconds in the time bank. You got to make something happen now. Earth Shatter for Gladiators, keeping them bottled up there. It's going to be an early Transcendence for Dogman. He had to keep people on his team alive. The health bars were looking grim, and now Ursa is going to need a really good grab if they're going to create the crowd control. There goes Masa, Big Goose.
Masa has Sound Barrier.
What? No Lucy ultimate available for Reign. They are less than 10 seconds away from losing a third map in a row to the Gladiators and losing this series. Everybody's piling on. There goes the Sound Barrier. It's going to be Gladiators taking the fight again. Overtime expires. They barely get a few people from Atlanta on the point. With that kill on Decay, none of this matters. Masa just lasting as long as he can. Dako has a chance to come in and keep delaying it, but that seems like it's only delaying the inevitable. Not even going to happen. Gladiators will win 3 maps in a row, and that's going to be the series. One more map to go, but Gladiators have kept themselves alive in stage 1, and they've allowed New York Excelsior to clinch #1 in the Atlantic Division too.
Absolutely, and a little bit of the shades of the former Gladiators we saw this season.
Totally
with Void flying out there on the A defense, but man, they tightened it right back up on the B defense, and that was a extremely strong hold.
Looking really, really good. Shields up indeed, man. Quick break, and when we get back, map number 4. Don't go anywhere. More coming right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to only the LA Gladiators' second win so far this season in the Overwatch League, but what a win it has been. One more map to go, but they have been looking so dominant over Atlanta Reign so far.
Yeah, it was surprising to see the Gladiators in the condition they were earlier, especially when they got a lot of their wins based on good strategy. And clearly they were ready for this end layer substitution that we've seen from the Atlanta Reign previously, and they had their dive composition ready for A, rolled it right into B. So looking darn good for the Gladiators.
No kidding. I mean, I'm really happy. More strong teams in the league, the better, in my opinion. It was weird to not count Gladiators among them. Meanwhile, another substitution on the other side. I think we all know who that is. DeFran coming back in for end layer. On the Atlanta Reign side, we'll see if maybe they can at least pick up one map. Obviously, the Reign still having a pretty great season up to this point. Loss aside, you know, still a team we could see make it into the Stage 1 playoffs pretty easily, but it is a bit worrisome seeing how some of maybe their ult economy was handled today.
Yeah, the supports have not been on point for the Atlanta Reign. You have to say overall, and you know, part of that's caused by, I don't think anybody's put this much pressure on their tank line before, so a lot of those tanks are getting low. They're feeling like they have to pop sound barrier trance very early in these engagements. But I think the most impressive thing about the Gladiators is we talk so much about the excellence of their coaching, the excellence of their strategic game plans last season.
Sure.
Sort of didn't really show up until this point. But not only did they fix seemingly most of their problems, which I think were not difficult fixes, but they really identified who were the threats on the front line there of the Atlanta Reign, and if they just put pressure on Pokpo and they just focused him as much as they could, the rest of the team was going to crumble, and it certainly has.
Well, it was a lot of what you were mentioning earlier, where it was Pokpo and then it was also Erster that they identified as someone they really needed to lean on quite a bit here. And a lot of times in those later fights in Temple of Anubis, you would see Erster nearly die at the beginning of a fight, and Dogman would have very little choice other than to pop that Transcendence to try to keep him alive and preserve the push, but that would end up making the trance use early, and it'd be tough. Monty Verde. Green Monty.
That's me.
Monty Verde. There you go. I can only speak Korean.
It's not easy being green. Which is why it's so hard to be a Valiant fan right now, honestly.
Oh, it's sad, but it's true. Gladiators on the attack here.
Just be glad I'm not casting next match Valiant fans. Gotta get him in now while I can.
Oh, Big Goose. I was worried. I was afraid he played himself there. He's going to go into the drink, but no. He's okay as Gladiators continue to attack, and it's tough. Ooh.
Little bounce back right there.
Can't kill Lucio. It's too tough, man.
Yeah, Masa trying to get that angle just so he can move some
of
the Decay. Off the Decay, but is this too much?
I mean, it looks like it's enough anyway. It's going to take a while for Dogman to get back and Poco out of there. Whoa, and that's a nice knockback onto Roar, putting him in the canals as well.
I mean, but you're going to come up on a 6 versus 4 scenario. They have to send Masa back to really just taxi people to the point with his speed boost, but you've lost control of this corner, and this corner is one of the best parts to defend here on point A. So in the end, Gladiator's going to get some payload movement as a result of that fight.
Yeah, and making it around that corner is really challenging. So you're going to be pretty happy to take that one. Roar walking forward, looking for that shatter. The shield gets Dogman with that one. Can they get any kills, though? Roar, a little bit of trouble until the Transcendence was used by Shaz, but Poke gets a charge onto Hydration. That's going to be an easy win for Atlanta Reign, just countering the aggression from the Gladiators.
Yeah, earlier Graviton Surge there, thanks to DeFran. Gladiator's going to be coming back with a lot of tools to make this work, though. Masa, let's take a look and see if he's going to use his sound barrier effectively when the Graviton Surge comes in from the Gladiators.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of it's been trying to pull those support ultimates out of the Reign early on. We'll see if they can keep doing that. Dako throws in the self-destruct.
Nice kill on the Shaz.
Gets knocked off, though, by the whip shot from Erster. There goes Big Goose as well, and Gladiators gonna have to go back to spawn again. Point A is starting to look a little bit tough for these guys. 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, they let the Atlanta Reign get control of this corner once again.
Yep.
So the Atlanta Reign back in the position. They'd love to defend that right now. Plenty of support ultimates to handle the Gladiators' more offensive ultimates when it comes to the Graviton Surge. Going to be popping around this corner again.
That's right.
We'll be backing off.
So they will give them the space, but now you made it past the corner. You have to get through this really, really narrow choke, which is another challenge in and of itself. Grab, ready to go for Decay. Is he going to use it? Yes, he is. Self-destruct comes in too. Poco tries to counter shatter. Nice charge, though. And it was Poco killed during that charge from Roar, and now they're going to be able to push back Atlanta Reign. Yeah, so just some patience from the Gladiators, and they finally find the fight they were looking for. A lot of time, though, used off the time bank by Rain.
Yeah, Masa didn't drop the sound barrier at the start of that fight, so no real protection from the self-destruct, especially when the Reinhardt charge comes through, and that means one fight left here at the end of A.
Okay, they're gonna walk right back into it. Popo got really low, barely saved by that sound barrier in the end, and he's not gonna be able to live through the entire fight, though, but there goes Hydration. A grab comes in again, Dako with that self-destruct, body blocking Roar into oblivion, as that shield did not cut it. Masa gets the boop onto Big Goose, and it's gonna be Atlanta Reign holding at the end of A again.
And we're in one fight territory now, Doa.
Yeah.
30 seconds left on the
a
clock.
full hold.
A lot of ultimates used. Watch Decay, though, coming back up on with another Graviton. He's going to be the key for the Gladiators in this next fight. But they don't have a lot of time to build up his Zarya energy, so damage might be on the lower side.
It's going to be tough, man. Hydration's going to have to get in there with the rally to be aggressive. They're going to use that to just push forward here. Atlanta Reign taking the fight up ahead because they know they don't want to let him get to the payload. That was your shatter dropped by Roar. No knockdowns out of that one. Dogman goes in with the Transcendence.
They need to get on the card.
That Transcendence is going to end, man. Oh, and there it goes. Popo and Dogman eliminated by Void Self-Destruct. He's going to catch Dako as well. Point contested here. Gladiators might just be able to push this one through A. It looks like they will, and again, I feel like just a little bit of mistiming on those ultimates, and that costed Rain big time.
Well, also, I love how the Gladiators are playing with their shatter this game. Roar has had a great series so far, something they really needed from him as they stagger out Dogman here.
Oh.
Just put him to sleep.
he's on Grandma's farm now. He's much happier, trust us.
They took Dogman to the countryside.
That's right. Yeah, he's just going to run with all the
out
other
behind the
forest
shed.
animals now. It's a magical place. Payload coming around the other tough corner on this map. This is another rough one to get through if you are the attackers. Got a couple ultimates though. Shaz with that Transcendence ready to go. The ground drop down here, right onto Void. They're all gonna pile onto this Diva, and it looks like they will get the D-Mech, but Dogman's gonna pay for it too. Masa down as well. Supports for Rain eliminated here. And that payload's still moving. We're gonna turn around. Ooh, Earth Shatter. Blocked by most everybody. I'm kind of surprised with that. He's gonna take Popo for a ride there.
Decay's still alive.
Decay able to do it in Gladiators. Man, that was an interesting fight, but they turned it around.
I mean, turns out when you have a rally and Decay is going crazy with high energy on the Zarya, you're going to be able to mop up a lot of those engagements.
Yeah.
And Decay also earns himself yet another Zarya ultimate.
He's been getting those pretty quick.
Sure has, and now suddenly, after nearly getting full held on this map, they find themselves with plenty of time to take point C.
Decay with even time to wave to his opponents there. That's called momentum there.
Give him the old Sinatra special right there.
That's right. Ooh, Earth Shadow thrown in though. Void taking a nap now on top of the payload. He's gonna get away just in time. Popo gonna use that to go forward, and they're gonna finish off Roar. DeFran have the damage they needed. Now Popo though in a little bit of trouble, gonna get saved by Dogman's Transcendence. Big Goose out of the way too, so Atlanta Reign gonna get themselves a bit of breathing room here on point C.
Quite a bit, in fact, as they even managed to eliminate Decay.
Yeah.
Heading back into that spawn, so resetting the Zarya charge, and that means Atlanta gets to take this high ground right now. It's a very difficult high ground to take. Gladiators may rotate all the way around through the staircase. Looks like that's what they're going to be doing right now, just to push them off.
Yeah, gonna try to just avoid that low ground completely since they've got the payload far enough already. Why not? Dako going for the boop, trying to knock a few people off.
That was a great play, actually.
It was a good attempt anyway, but now he's gonna get stunned and he's gonna get demeched. Gonna have to pop that self-destruct to get his mech back again. Just a purely remeching ultimate there.
Style black hole right there.
I was gonna say DeFran just lobs it in there. Like, oh, well, it's
I don't need
a combo.
It's fine.
I don't know about that. Okay, that's a grab that looks a little bit better here. It's going to draw the sound barrier from Rain. Self-destruct, then catches two again. Popo and Masa not making out of that one alive. They got Dogman trapped. And that's going to be a lot of distance on that payload, and that's going to be maybe a nasty stagger onto DeFran. Dako trying to save him as he goes back to spawn. Going to barely get him there.
The Goose is not back yet with his teammates now rounding the corner, so we are going to see a 6 versus 6.
Yep. All right, here we go. The final fight. If Gladiators are able to take this one, they'll be able to finish the map. If they can't, it's going to be tough to get back and contest it again with just 30 seconds in the time bank. Taco a little bit low, self-destruct, knocks out Hydration. Shaz with the Transcendence counter shatter comes out from Roar, and that's going to be the kills coming in. Dogman not able to use his Transcendence before he's removed from the battle, and that is going to be Gladiators finishing it. Nearly a point A hold, but they rally back, literally and figuratively, and finish that map.
17 seconds left in the time bank. Not a whole lot, but you'll take it after that slow roll through A if you're a Gladiators fan. And right now, we'll see if Atlanta can take a map in this series or whether they are just going to go home with absolutely nothing.
I mean, that would be crazy if Gladiators 4-0 Atlanta Reign, just looking at how these two teams have performed coming into this series. And you know, it's like I said, if at some point Gladiators were going to just kind of go crazy and become the Gladiators of old, you know, become that team we knew they were going to be. Was it going to be today? Was it not? That was the question. Well, had to give the edge to Atlanta coming into it, but man, it has definitely been a breakout performance by LA Gladiators today.
I mean, we knew this team was just a couple of steps away from being incredibly dangerous, and they've activated at the right time now because they had to win to keep themselves in contention for the Stage 1 playoffs. They delivered. It's not over for them yet. Obviously, a couple more matches remain to even consider being in stage playoffs, but
yeah,
you
still
know,
on the bubble for sure.
Yeah, still on the bubble. But every map is going to really matter for them because if they can get up to that 3 and 4 score, it'll probably be a map differential that decides who gets those 7th and 8th seeds.
And we talk about every map mattering, and a lot of times these 4th maps, teams that enter the lead don't take them too seriously. Well, this is a map that Gladiators are definitely going to take seriously.
All right, Urster on the Pharah. They're going to go for very aggressive point A take right here, try and punish the low mobility composition of the Gladiators on the low ground. Just take a couple shots there. Yeah. Wanted to see if they get a Widow shot. Wanted to see if they could get, you know, the Mercy damage boost to create an early pick before they turn it around.
Right, a little bit of a concussion grenade action from Pharah into the canals, but Gladiators not giving them any opportunities. There's an opportunity, Big Goose. Oh, it's World War Boop as Popo takes a swim, and that's going to be an early defense for the Gladiators.
Truly the most forgotten about of World Wars.
I love it. One of the most impressive and heroic, though. Look at this.
Another one. This is a very fancy wall ride from the Goose, and we'll see if he can get anything.
Oh, here he comes! Oh, I love it!
Oh! Masa got the read.
Yeah, I mean, you know what they say, fool me once, I'm going to get environmental guilt. Fool me twice, and then, you know, just log off, right?
I'll look up, and that's going to be it. I'll boop you instead.
There you go.
The booper becomes the boopy, as they say.
That's right, as the old saying goes. Like my grandfather always said. LA Gladiators have to give up a little bit of ground to Atlanta Reign here. All right. Atlanta Reign on that high ground, just letting the payload edge forward before they drop down. And here's the moment. They're going in. Can they win the fight, though? Can't really find the dive under Roar that they were hoping for, anyway. Daco backing away. Really wants to keep that mech alive. Oh, but the grab comes in for Gladiators. And there were just too many low health members for the Reign. What do you do, man? I mean, they just took so much poke damage trying to be aggressive. That easy grab from Gladiators, they used nearly nothing to win that fight.
Calculated play from the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Daco was very far forward. They poke out his mech. He has to use his boosters to fly away. Guess where there's not a defensive matrix anymore? Right in front of the Reign. And the Goose.
Oh, no. Oh, the Goose was loose, but
I like the style play.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, that's every time I play Rialto, that's me, man. I don't look anywhere near as good as Big Goose when I'm doing it, but you got to go for those boops. Too much fun. All right, Atlanta Reign trying to stay safe inside where you're not going to get thrown into the canal. Now the grab comes in from Reign. They get Roar on the cart with that one. He's going to try to counter shatter. Sound barrier now for Reign to keep people up despite that pretty good shatter. Now another one comes in from Popo, and that's going to be a kill on Hydration. The charge comes through as Roar tries to escape. They're going to give some ground and concede that fight over to Atlanta Reign. And that's going to be about it. Yep, goodbye, Roar. That shield is not going to last.
Yeah, they kept Decay alive, though, so that's actually pretty important. So Decay coming back with Zarya Energy and a Graviton Surge. Remember, Masa used the sound barrier in the last fight, so Gladiators can fight here, especially if that happens.
Again! Big Goose just keeps finding him, and now it's an easy 5v6. Goodbye, Urster. I love it. I love watching Big Goose. Man, you know, you can complain about this meta from time to time, but it has been a great meta for Lucio plays.
Yeah, it has. Lucio, such a fun hero to watch. And coming in, I mean, Gladiators are going to be overjoyed. They reset Zarya energy on the other side.
Yeah.
They kept their own Zarya energy. They have a grab that they didn't have to use. And now Atlanta Reign have 1 fight and 0 ultimates. A grab if they're lucky.
Dude, it does not get much tougher than it is right now for the Atlanta Reign. Coming into this very short-handed in ultimates. Gladiators 1 fight away from closing out the 4-0, and there goes Defran. Oh, Popo and Defran down before the fight even begins. And with just 15 seconds left, it's going to be tough to imagine Atlanta Reign even getting people back to contest. They might be able to get somebody there. Maybe Masa can make it in, but the cohesion's not going to be there. Goodbye, Masa. And now the Hammond trying to do it. The Shatter prevents them. That's going to be a clean, decisive, dominating 4-0 from the Gladiators.
What a way to end, too, Doa. You hit Defran with the solo grab because you know he's going to be the closest one to have his ult online. He's the only threat. Solo grab him, get rid of him. You get the Zarya with all that energy, and that's going to be a 6 versus 5. Easy team fight win.
Oh, it's been just great awareness all throughout for the Gladiators as far as ult economy the other side. And, you know, everything we said the Gladiators were lacking coming into the series, they had it this time, man. They kept everybody together. We didn't see tanks getting too far ahead and getting picked off too often. Saw it a little bit, but it was, man, it was like a million times better.
Night and day.
Yeah. So good. And so many good plays from Big Goose as well. It was a fun match to watch. Gladiators keeping themselves alive in that stage 1 playoff hunt. And now we have Mika down by the stage with Big Goose to hear his words after that series.
Thanks, guys. We got Big Goose here. Make it up, or give it up for Big Goose. He has had some clutch boops. I've been enjoying your Lucio play. It has been phenomenal. And this has been an essential win for the Gladiators. And not only was it a win, it was a domination, and it was awesome. So is this the momentum the Gladiators need to get to the stage playoffs?
Yeah, I think we just focused on our own game, and we finally managed to get the performance we wanted.
You did, and it was amazing to watch. And I talked to your performance coach earlier, and he said that the communication has been a lot better. You guys are really starting to mesh well. So can you give us a little insight onto how that process has been? Have you been learning Korean? What's been going on?
Yeah, I've been learning Korean, but I can't use it yet. Maybe someday, but we have been improving a lot in comms, confirmation, and stuff like that. It does help a lot this week.
Wonderful. Well, I hope your communication continues to grow, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who will practice Korean with you if that's what you need. But for now, we're going to kick it back up onto the casters.
Thank you, Mika. Hey, Big Goose, I'll practice with Korean with you anytime, man. Just let me know. I need all the help I can get. Yeah, but that was a...
In many ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what can I say? I don't know. Is it poke, pose, or poco? Who knows? It's all the same to me, yeah. But, man, what a great series for the Gladiators. Yep. Finally becoming the team that we kind of, hope they would be all throughout. And, we've got so many highlights from that series, man. A lot of stuff from the supports. Let's check it out. It's going to be pretty sick. Decay, of course, it's fun to see the Genji come out every once in a while. And didn't get a lot with his Dragon Blade, but then after it was done, finding all the final blows.
It's easy to sweep up this Anubis beat point if you start getting rolling with the Genji dash resets, and that's exactly what they're going to be getting right there. Great pin from Roar, who was absolutely fantastic this match. It's been something, that synergy that was lacking was found today. Said night and day for the Gladiators. We should probably say Nox at DM if we're going to be technical about it.
Hey man, I'm just practicing Korean. I'm not even going to touch that.
That's all right. I got the Latin covered though.
There you go.
Right.
Well, it was. The range sort of found themselves between a hieroglyph and a hard place on Temple of Anubis.
Well played.
Thank you. Meanwhile, on Rialto, it didn't get much better. Ended up being a point A hold for the Gladiators here. And again, this was a map where, you saw a lot of fun, big plays like the shatters, you saw the self-destructs, the Big Goose boops, but in the end, it was really the awareness that the Gladiators had, the teamwork and the ability to kind of track those ultimates, and man, I'll never get tired of watching this kind of stuff. Well, you take this to your ladder games. It feels so good every time.
Not as a Reinhardt, though. It doesn't feel good at all.
Not as a Reinhardt. Don't take that to your ladder games as a Reinhardt. Do it if you're the Lucio. There you go. But man, what an awesome series. What a great way to kick off the day. Obviously, Atlanta Reign still very much alive in their own playoff hunt here in stage 1, but today it's all about the LA Gladiators keeping themselves alive. That's pretty sick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I'm just glad to see the Gladiators looking like the form that we're used to seeing them in, because it really made absolutely no sense that they would be underperforming in this meta. You look, they brought Decay, who used to play with Roar in Korea. Like, there should have been synergy there. There was a lot of really strange things that were happening. And it seems like this, taking a few days off, they come back strong against Atlanta, and they look very scary.
Well, speaking of Roar, spoiler alert, let's take a look at our player of the match, brought to you by Omen by HP. Who's it going to be? I already told you it's Roar. There were so many good players on the Gladiators today to choose from, but Roar, I think, deserves a primary look there because of what he didn't do. He didn't go too far forward. He didn't die constantly. Great team play from this guy, finally, to add to that great individual play.
Yeah, and we could ask the Reign, were they ready for Roar, or not? He was ready to give it all he got.
I mean, they might be ready to give it one more shot.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep, Roar, of course. A lot of hero damage done.
Shout out to the GSL.
That's right. SC2, never forget. So Roar, of course, having a fantastic day on that Reinhardt. Just a small part in the big picture of what made the LA Gladiators so dominant over LA, not LA Reign today. See, it's the weather again. Over Atlanta Reign, yeah.
The rain in LA.
Rain never, a different kind of rain though. But the rain was broken this time by the shield of the Gladiators.
Well, that was very poetic, Dara.
Thank you. I know, right? That's right. Don't go anywhere, guys. It's going to be LA Valiant, your second LA team, taking on the Philadelphia Fusion. Can LA make it 2 in a row? Who knows? Let's find out. Don't go anywhere, guys. The Overwatch League will be right back after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.